Welcome back to the Booty Babble podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Dr. Sarah Winter, and she's our dentist.
Yes, the best dentist.
And we love her, and we really wanted to do this podcast because I am obsessed with teeth, and it's the first thing I notice about people.
So watch out. Make sure you brush when you hang out with Carolina.
All right, let's bring her on.
Welcome, Sarah, Dr. Winter. We're so excited to talk to you today. Everything about having a healthy mouth, healthy white teeth, and all the things that go along with that.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. This is fun.
Yeah. So will you tell us a little bit about you and your background and how you came into being a dentist?
Yeah. My dad's a dentist.
Oh, really? Love that.
There's a lot of us in the industry. It's like all we do. My mom works at his practice. My grandmother, my cousins, my aunt. It's like the embodiment of a family practice. So it literally was all I knew growing up. And so I wanted nothing to do with dentistry. And I thought I would do medicine, but always healthcare. And then I was in undergrad and I was shadowing all these physicians. They really deterred me.
Were they miserable?
Yeah, they were. They said that, it's a lot of education, it's a lot of cost, and they felt that they were being ruled by insurances. And so I said, just really think about it because this is where it's going at the time. So this is like late 90s.
And they were right.
And then, yeah, I feel like there's some truth to that for sure. And so, anyway, I veered left. I ended up teaching special ed.
Really?
Yeah, for a minute. And my brother came to me and he had been golfing with my dad. He was like, hey, I think we should both do this together. It's a great family business. Both of us knew we wanted families and we'll support each other. And so I kind of started diving into dentistry. I had a lot of my prereqs because I was pre-med anyway. And then he actually is a teacher now. He's very happy, but he hated dentistry once he got into it. And I really fell in love. So worked out. It's a happy yes.
How long have you been a dentist?
15 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a minute.
Yeah, makes you kind of an expert.
I know, right? 10,000 hours.
Yeah, right.
You've done it.
Yeah. So thank you. But yeah, so there's my long-winded story about how I did this.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll start off with just like the basic stuff. Like, what are the top 3 things that people can do to kind of, keep up their best smile, I guess, like what could they be doing that isn't too crazy, just kind of basic things to do?
Okay. So I feel like there's 2 parts to this. So oral health, I think, is such a big deal. And I think that it's getting a lot of, we're learning so much more and it's finally kind of making its way to more global understanding. Remember when gut microbiome was like all the rage and we were all learning so much about that and how important that is. Well, the mouth is very much connected to the gut and there's a whole oral microbiome. So I feel like being healthy, and then there's beautiful side of it too. So there's kind of 2 parts to that. So 3 things that we can do just to make sure that we're our absolute healthiest, and happy accident is that you will have a more beautiful smile if it's really nice and healthy. Brushing with an electric toothbrush, I think, is an easy, wonderful upgrade. Everybody hates this, but flossing it's such a big deal, and it works wonders. It gives you really nice, healthy gums. At the end of the day, too, I tell people all the time, I can make sure your teeth are bright and beautiful, but if your gums are uneven and red and inflamed and you have recession, it's, A, it's unhealthy, and then B, it's just not as beautiful. And the 3rd thing I would say is tongue scraping.
I always forget about the tongue scraping. I have one and I always forget.
When do you do it?
After you brush.
And how many times a day? Because I'm like, just once.
Yeah. I feel like, and this is a conversation I have with patients too, everybody has their thing that works So I keep floss everywhere because it makes history.
Me too.
But
Actually.
the shower was like a game changer for me. I love flossing in the shower.
With your water floss?
No,
The regular.
yeah. It's kind of gross, right?
Yes.
It is gross.
Flossing is kind of gross.
Like if my husband does it when we're all both in the bathroom, I'm out of there. Like a clicking sound.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
The flicking off, like the shit flying everywhere. Like,
the shower. It's like,
Yeah, that's good. I love brushing teeth in the shower.
Yeah.
So I should just do it all.
and then make sure when you do use scraper like metal.
Yeah, I don't know.
does it make any difference to use a copper one?
Ooh,
Because I had like my Rolfing guy, he said, some people use copper bottles to get some like the copper in your body, but he's like, you don't need it, just use a copper tongue scraper.
I like that.
So I got one, but I never use it.
Yeah, I have one just sitting in a bag.
Yeah. Put it in the shower. I wonder if it would like.
No, if I put it in the shower, I would definitely do it.
Yeah. Well, but then I wonder with the copper.
I had Tina.
Tina. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
But for sure, metal. Any metal.
Yes. They sell plastic ones, and
I've never seen them.
yeah. I mean, with everything we know about plastics.
Yeah.
And like, how many times a day should you be flossing? Because I just floss like 3 times a day. I don't like the feeling of like anything between my teeth.
It gets addicting, right?
Yes. And then I take a long time, like doing both sides. It's the whole thing.
Because you're not going to have gum disease.
Oh, my
Great.
God.
Yeah, it's addicting. I feel the same way. So I does not agree with our line of thinking, but once a day is totally sufficient.
Running at night before bed.
Yeah,
Ideally. You don't want to go to sleep with nasty.
yeah,
Right.
That's next to me.
Sitting there. Well, and those are great suggestions because they're all relatively
Doable.
cheap. I mean, they're practically free.
Yeah.
They're extremely low cost.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to compliance. Right.
Yeah, and then so that's the thing too. Like of all of my patients, everyone has something that works for them. A lot of people like those like floss stick things.
I feel bad using those.
What do you mean floss pick things? Like,
I just feel like it's
those things.
Yes,
my kids use this.
they're great. If you have ISIS,
Those
floss
suck.
is amazing. They're not as good.
For me, I'm like, I didn't get anything out.
Yeah, because you know what it's like to have a really clean teeth. Yeah, it is so much better than nothing.
Right.
And
Right.
some people, if they have big hands or they just don't have the dexterity, or they do it in their car, like I get
No.
having that.
I floss in my car.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah, I do too. It's like when you're waiting to pick up your kids.
Or
you're
like, sort of things in there.
Right.
I'm
But,
like, thank God I
floss such
Yeah.
Maybe not a
yeah, it's but I'd rather you floss
and not at all.
than not
somewhere.
somewhere.
Just
somewhere. Don't, yeah, or what? I mean, I do think there are some that are better and some that are worse. Ideally, in a perfect world, you want like a floss that's like a little bit threaded and
Like Cocoa Floss or Smart Floss.
yes, or even
Those are nice and thick.
Yeah. Dr. Tom's makes a good one.
Yeah, Dr.
Makes a good one.
Tom's.
Yeah. So
So my teeth are so close together. Cocoa floss gets caught in a few places. And then I have to floss to get the floss out.
Yeah.
So I do have to use like
the ribbon flat one, I feel like that does nothing.
That's not, I need Glide.
I hate the Glide.
I have
worst
to
one.
use that. I have to use it.
after try Dr. Tom's.
Dr. Tongs? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I love Coco's my favorite. I like the packaging. That's everything about it.
Yeah.
But there's like 3 spots where it's a no-go.
Yeah. People have that. They really tight contacts. Yeah.
Tight tricks.
Yeah. Try David's makes a good one. Dr.
I like Dr. Tom's. That's my
Okay. And then what do you say about toothpaste and toothbrush as far as like your favorite products?
So I think when it comes to toothpaste, I feel like it's a little like hair products. Like there isn't just one that you should use. You actually like some of them are more abrasive and some are more gentle. On a daily, I don't like the abrasive toothpaste.
What's an abrasive?
Yeah, like what's that?
There's like actually like a whole scale of acidity. I don't even know if that's the right word, but of abrasiveness. And so a lot of the charcoal ones that came out, so they were like, oh, they whiten your teeth. Well, they whiten your teeth because they will take off every bit of stain because they're super abrasive. Generally speaking, I feel like sometimes when you pick up stain, like you need something a little bit more abrasive. So that's the time when you would use something like that. So for example, the charcoal toothpaste, or I actually like Arm & Hammer. I want to say it's called Peroxicare. It's actually not super abrasive, but it's enough abrasive. Or like the ancient old school Crest one is abrasive enough that it'll help if you get stains. Like I pick up stain. Drink coffee. Yeah, this happens sometimes. But on the daily, you don't want to use something that has that is abrasive at all, because it will take off like slowly, like the little bits of enamel. So it's too much for the daily. So generally speaking, anything that's like a sensitive toothpaste is not going to be abrasive at all. Anything that's whitening, for the most part, what that is it has like a peroxide in it, or it's pretty abrasive. So I would stay away for the most part from the whitening toothpaste. Now that's an ideality.
Every day, twice a day.
What about like the top?
The Crest? Yeah, the Crest whitening, I think.
Does it like take your enamel off? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good to know.
Yeah, it will. Over time, you will notice it. But, and it's, microscopic, but
I don't want to take
But doesn't it make it more porous? So then it's like you get more stains?
well, it'll have the fluoride in it too, which makes like a harder crystalline structure. But at the same time, and it'll make you more sensitive. Like it's not good. Don't.
So the more sensitive ones tend
They're
to...
more gentle.
Yeah.
And do they need to stay sensitive?
Not necessarily.
Oh,
So
okay.
there is an index. Give it to you. I don't know if the show notes is, but there is an index. You can like look up how abrasive your toothpaste is. Or there's of all the different toothpaste. Nowadays, what is coming around is something called nanohydroxyapatite toothpaste. So they're doing that instead of fluoride, and that's actually a really big deal. I feel like, outside of all the political stuff with what is going on with fluoride, but our crystalline structure of enamel is specifically made of hydroxyapatite. And so using what's already there to help remineralize, I think it's a really good deal. We're actually finding that it makes people less sensitive as well.
And it works. Like it works like
What
fluoride.
kind of toothpaste is that?
Every nanohydroxyapatite is the same. So it doesn't matter where it's sourced. It gets complicated. It doesn't matter where it's sourced. It doesn't matter the shape. It doesn't matter the size. I can give you some brands that I think do a really good job.
That'd be great.
I think David's does a really good job. Risewell does a really good job.
I've never heard of these brands.
What about like I use Marvis? Do you know Marvis?
I love Marvis too.
As my packaging.
Yeah, that's what I like.
I like how it tastes. I like how it looks.
Which
I love
flavor do you like?
all of them. I like all of them. The
Even
purple
the
one, the mint
anise?
one, the anise.
I like them all too.
I haven't tried.
It's my favorite.
They're expensive.
They are,
Yeah.
but I love them.
But I bet they're not abrasive. They feel...
It's an Italian brand, but I don't know if I'm
It's old
I
school.
don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I wish I knew off the top of my head. I don't know that. I've seen the packaging for sure.
old school looking for.
There's a new Italian one coming out. It's literally gold, and I keep getting the Instagram ads for it. I don't know.
You must get served all the things.
Oh, yeah. But not Harvest. I'll look that up. But yeah, but nanohydroxyapatite is great, and so honestly, fluoride is fantastic for your enamel. It really will do a good job.
What's going on with like the political thing?
They want to ban it from the water.
Okay. And are we for that or against that?
I think a lot of people don't brush their teeth, which is shocking but true. And so I think it needs to be in there. And I think that the toxic effects are being grossly over exaggerated. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
I am not for it in the water.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say I'm like a little crutchy and a little Western. I don't think that it's very dose dependent. So it is not great for us, but it is very dose dependent. But I do think like the idea with it in the water is that basically it makes its way into our saliva if we have enough of it. And I feel like there's other ways that we can get it onto the teeth. So for me, I am for it in toothpaste because I feel like the amount we're swallowing just isn't that much.
Yeah.
But I feel like that I don't know about the cost benefit, but I feel like there's other things we can do and we don't need it.
Yeah. Do you think, because even I just got my teeth cleaned at your place, And she's like, how many times a day do you brush your teeth? Or how much do you brush your teeth? And I'm like, 2 to 3 times a day. I'm like, who doesn't do that? And she's like, you'd be surprised.
Our youngest will deep.
Yeah, I have to.
And I'm like, what are you doing? That's disgusting. And then I shame him. And
You're like,
I tell my kids every morning, every night. I mean, they're good.
I tell you too, but if you don't check, then it's like they say they do it, but then they don't.
I think I've properly shamed them like you to the point where they do it. Yeah.
yeah. Kids don't do a great job. Teenage
Boys true.
It's not great. Even if they do it, they piss our slots.
That makes me feel better. My kids are much better, but it took some work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some shaming. Some like,
Because my mom never took care of her teeth, and then she lost them all.
really?
Her teeth are like implants.
So, yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Exactly. So if you don't do it when you're young, you're going to be paying for it in your 30s or 40s.
Big time.
Yeah.
You mentioned like brand for like, you know, the floss, the toothpaste. What about the toothbrush? Like which electric toothbrush?
Honestly, all of them I think do a pretty comparable job. So it just comes down to, and it comes back to honestly to the packaging, I think. So Oral-B, I have liked because you'll have it for over a decade.
That's what I have.
It just works and it works. You get your tips and you're good to go. And then even within Oral-B, there's like the Clean, which is like over $200, and then there's the one you get at Costco. For the most part, they do a pretty similar job. It makes me happy to see the fancier one. And it's sort of like the floss of the packaging. You're like, I'm more inclined to grab this one.
Yeah.
So it kind of, for the most part, comes down to that. There's a less expensive brand called Burst, and it does a really great job. And I like them because when you buy it, you sign up for, like, they'll send you a new trip every 3 months. And there's I like that. Right?
Yeah.
Because I forget. I remember. And then I'm like, I don't remember when the last time I did this. So I like that. It keeps me accountable for the most part. And that's what I buy for the kids too. I'm not sure longevity wise if it's as strong or as well made, if you will, as a Sonicare, but just
I do a Sonicare.
it's great.
Yeah. The first time I did it, I was like, I don't think I can do that.
It's a little.
And then, of course, you get used to it. But now I'm addicted to it.
Yeah. I can't even, people on trips just for like
I'd ring my Sonicare down.
It feels like so grungy when you don't use it.
Yeah, it's just better because it's spinning, right? Like, and so it's like a washer.
It brings it back by a balance.
And yet a Sonic it vibrates. It feels crazy. Have you ever done it?
I like
I think you need to change.
Yeah.
I think it would change your life.
In all the studies, they all are so comparable about it. Yeah, it just comes down to
But definitely electric over.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Manual all day long. And then, now I'm going to digress too. When you're using an electric, it's supposed to do the work for you. So and it usually has a beep every 30 seconds. Have you picked up on that? It's not like a loud beep. It's like a pause.
For what? To switch spaces?
So to break your mouth into 4 quadrants so that you make sure you're getting all the surfaces. But essentially, you're only supposed to hold on to it. You're not supposed to like,
Right.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
So they say with like the pressure of like 2 fingers, which doesn't feel secure, but essentially just to keep that in mind, because you can. What we notice is wherever people start brushing their teeth, they'll have recession if they start brushing it like on the gum line, because everybody has the same habit. You'll start in the exact same spot every day, and our chairs be like, this is where you start. Not everyone, but for a lot of people. And the theory behind that is A, wherever you start, you're using the most force, and then B, that's where all the tooth is usually going, is wherever you start. But you can overrush, you can do some damage. So.
And just thinking about starting in different places.
Yes. So always start on a chewing surface, because you're not going to brush away so if you start on the cheek side where the gums are and you have any bit of recession, that root surface of your tooth is about 7 times softer than the enamel of your tooth. So you can wear it away. You call it abrasion. Young. So yeah.
Okay. I'm good enough.
Fun fact. What is the most common dental issue you see that could easily be prevented by these like simple daily things like brushing and flossing?
Periodontal disease.
What is it?
Periodontal disease, gum disease.
Yeah.
Like deep pockets?
Yeah. It's
And that's from not flossing.
it's from a number of factors, but flossing will help prevent it in leaps and bounds.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, it's a big deal. I feel like it's tricky, right? Because so many people are like, "Oh my gums have always bled," and you're like, "But your hands, it's bleeding." You know, like, would that be a problem? And what we know is basically like your mouth is an oral microbiome. So you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria. And how much you are harboring of either of those, they can be some pretty nasty bugs. So if your gums are bleeding, stop me if that getting too gross.
No.
The gross are an open door to your circulatory system. And so it is very much correlated with heart disease, with stroke. We're finding they did a study at Harvard. I want to say it was only like 4-ish years ago. They're finding a specific oral bacteria in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. And they tested the CSF. It was in 100% of the Alzheimer's patients. It's not even like closely associated. Like, it's a really big deal having a healthy mouth. And gum disease, they say, depending on what you breathe, it's like up to 80% of the population will have it. And so we just kind of accepted that, these things happen. But I think there's so much that we don't know about the damage that it could be causing. But I know enough to say, like, it's a big deal. If your gums are bleeding, it's a big deal.
So is it because the food gets stuck in there and then it starts to decompose and then it creates like bad bacteria? And then that's how you get tartar and like all that stuff, right?
Yeah. So the tartar is basically, there is bacteria in your mouth, but once they start to thrive, they create these little like ecosystems.
This is why. So I have a problem. It's the first thing I notice about people. And like most people have disgusting gums. You can see it. They don't floss.
I don't think people do floss. I really don't. Yeah.
And people, they'll be very frank with you, like, tell me about your flossing. And they're like, well, you were there last time. And
oh my God.
6 months.
And that's funny because people are honest about it, and it shows how much they don't take it seriously.
Right.
Like,
They don't think it's a big deal.
like people lie to their doctor about how many drinks they have a week because they know it's bad.
That's true.
But and I think making the connection between heart disease and Alzheimer's, and it's totally true.
I've never heard that. I think it's people new.
I feel like it's a little bit newer information. I have a friend of a friend who, and this is so sad, she lost a pregnancy because of something from her mouth. And they said that there's nothing you could have done. It's not your fault or anything like that. But it was like it was like late term.
Yeah, it is very much associated with preterm delivery.
Yeah.
And it's even associated with fertility. They say that erectile dysfunction.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's fascinating. So real.
Floss, don't get it up.
And then we'll floss it. You tell them.
8 times more like.
Wow.
And then they say supposedly it's like you're 70% more, like your rate of getting pregnant, they found in like fertility clinics, went up by 70% when all of the infection in the mouth was remedy.
This is revolutionary.
And then there are like some pretty nasty bacteria because there's spirochetes, so there's spirals. So they like burrow their way into the gums, and some of the nastier ones. And then at the same time, it is a biome. So a lot of times, like a lot of these mouthwashes, it's like, they just annihilate everything.
Right.
Like things
Like
like
an antibiotic or something.
Yeah. And then antibiotics, some of them are nasty bugs, and we do need antibiotics.
Of course.
You have to like test for it to find out what bacteria are harboring this particular and you'll find, and there's a certain amount of bad bacteria. Again, it's a biome that we understand, and that's fine. Like, it's a low enough level, it's just part of it. But when you see, and then when we test for it, the printout, it's like these graphs,
Right.
like your red bacteria are in the red. So this is, and then you can specify some of them burrow their way into the gums, and so do need some antibiotics, and some of them really live on the tooth, like the root surfaces under the gums, very deep, and those you need to get in there and clean it out. So it's figuring out what's under there, figuring out how to clean it, and then getting you healthy again, and then maintaining that.
Right. So preventing all this is really easy.
It's easier.
I'm sure some people are old at it.
For sure. Yeah. There's definitely position that makes or me carry certain bacteria more than the next person. And so, there's things that do work against you, but, and honestly, diet is huge.
Right.
It's like everything, it's diet, it's, health, it's how often are we eating, it's what are we eating, how often are we drinking, what are we drinking, the genetic component, and then oral hygiene for sure.
So with people, having to go to the dentist more often or at least on schedule, I know there's a lot of people who have anxiety or phobias about going to the dentist. I love going to the dentist, but I have good teeth and I love when I scrape the barnacles off. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
You were the first person to ever say that to me. She was like, I love getting my teeth cleaned. And ever since she said that, I have also loved getting you changed, so good. You changed it for me. I was like, that's a really weird way of looking of going to the dentist, and I'm gonna adopt it. And now it does. I now appreciate the feeling.
Yeah, when you walk out of there.
Yeah, and they always tell me you're doing a good job. So I get in those.
Yeah,
I do a good job.
Yeah.
So
but it's because people have bad teeth or they have to get a lot of procedures to correct, all these things that could have been prevented in the first place. But what do you find your best approach is to kind of making them feel comfortable? And
it depends on the patient. I do think too, some of that is so visceral, it's
worst care.
Yeah. And I think it's, I'm curious. There's a lot of theories that's has this been passed down, generations because there didn't used to be any aesthetic. And so,
that's the genetic fear of the dentist.
And then people have had bad experiences, unfortunately.
I know you get PTSD from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it just depends. I mean, honestly, it depends on the rate of sedation. Definitely be gentle. Definitely not shake.
Right.
I'd be a shaming dentist.
Shaming. What are you saying? Character.
Yes. Anti-gun but so, it starts with that. And a lot of people just need to find a good fit in a home that feels comfortable to them. But then there are various levels. And honestly, it comes down to, do you need nitrous to get your teeth cleaned? Do you need full sedation to get your teeth cleaned?
Wow. Do you do that?
Yeah. I do oral conscious sedation. So it's already bring in somebody that will maybe sedate, depending on the strength of their
fear.
Interesting. Huh. Well, usually, though, if you give them a few good experiences, it
goes away.
It can come back. Yeah.
Well, your office, even just from the minute you walk in, the women you have working at the desk,
very welcoming vibe.
It's a calming vibe.
Yes, I love that. We try. It's our goal.
Yeah.
It's a calculated thing that we're in for. Thank you.
You guys offer Botox for teeth clenching, I'm a clencher, and TMJ. Could you kind of break down how that works?
Yes, it's a pretty big deal. So when it comes to teeth clenching or grinding, there's a little bit to unpack with that. So the first thing that you want to look at is airway. So some people clench at night, especially if you see kids clenching or grinding at night. That's a total red flag. And so a lot of times what you'll do is imagine if you're pushing your jaw forward, you're opening your airway. Some people clench as a habit. It releases catecholamines, and it actually can be a stress reliever, although a terrible one. I feel like if I'm doing clench a muscle, I'd rather abs or something so that it's helpful instead of having all size masseters. So the first thing to unpack is why, and then if it comes down to a habit for a lot, what I would say empirically, I've seen in practice, a lot of women, especially I'll say
I'm 47, but I've been clenching since my 20s for sure because I've broken teeth.
Yeah. Wow.
I've broken molars.
Oh, more at night. when you're younger, and then as we get older, we'll do it more during the day. So Botox,
I think I do it during the day now because I wear a white guard and I have for a million years, but I'm eating the system.
Yeah.
So I think I'm clenching during the day.
That's absolutely amazing.
Right.
So there's 3 different muscles that like clench. And so if you do Botox, for the most part, we'll just do it in the masseters. So there's masseters and the temporals, and then there's the pterygoids, which are inside.
Temporalis is up here.
Mm-hmm.
I love massaging this.
Yeah.
It's so like tender.
Yeah. Well, the little whatever this is called.
That muscle there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends who there's a clench and then there's a grind. Grind is where you'll do a little bit.
Is it all stress related?
It's very stressful. But if you can do the Botox, so basically what you're doing, and Botox just numbs it.
Yeah, trust my my face is full of it.
And
if it's not there.
Yeah. And then over time, it'll atrophy. So the force
Do it.
it's not going to be right.
I would love to.
The thing too, if you get like the tension, you ever get like I don't know, you just feel like tension happens. It's like a headache, but you just get like,
Oh, no, I don't actually. Well, I don't know if it's because I wear a bite guard.
Yeah.
But I don't feel any problems from it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I do it myself. I do get like the tension, and I don't realize that my Botox is wearing off until I start to feel that.
You do.
Yeah. But yeah, Botox, it does work amazing. Like they say, the mechanism of action is to there is some sensory action just getting injections,
Right. Just knowing.
but if you don't have any headaches or anything, yeah, it'll just help calm.
Does it change the way your face looks at all? It does. What does it do?
It'll like slenderize this a little bit. So for people that want like that, just sharp jaw, it's not as great, but
So it makes it rounder.
Yeah.
it's
Slims it.
right here.
Okay.
Your bone is still there, but the muscle on top. Like I have a pretty good one. See you pop out.
Yeah.
You think mine would pop out more for all the work I'm doing on it.
Yeah. Some people don't as much. You can feel, but yeah. I know it does work great. It's like for most people, when they get it done, they never go back.
Right.
Huh. Okay. And then what are some like the big ticket procedures that you enjoy performing and that you see like big transformations with your patients? Veneers?
Yes.
I hate veneers.
I know.
But you might not like them because you're only doing the bad ones.
I notice every single one. It's way too straight.
Yes.
They're way too white and they're way too big. And I notice them right away.
But I feel like that's changing, right? Like, aren't they getting a little more real looking?
It totally depends on the patient.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, you want to definitely patient wants.
Right. Like some people ask for the check. That's like, they do want to style.
They do?
Yeah. They're like, thank you. It's so interesting. I mean, so
It's almost like a boob job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here, let's do double D's.
Yeah.
You guys, it looks so bad. Any straight teeth with no like variety
Right.
looks like shit.
Right.
it's like a denture.
Yes.
It's like a denture. So I would argue that if he goes, have you met my husband?
I can't picture his teeth, but I would say you would never.
Never.
You might have. I mean, you might not
I
realize.
haven't seen them in a while, maybe.
Yeah.
So it just depends on, it depends on the ceramist and it depends on, so a veneer is custom made by a ceramist. It's still very, somebody sitting there individually making it all. And so basically it's glass. Wow.
Can you break close?
You can be
Yes.
stronger than your teeth.
Got it. Oh, okay. Stronger than your teeth. That's pretty strong.
About 4 that being said, yes.
But don't your real teeth have to be shaved to like a V?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's what I thought.
They don't?
No, in fact, they should not be. 100% no. So
But a lot of people do. Why is
you
that?
see all those TikToks? I always
Those are old. Is that old?
they don't.
I would literally be so traumatized.
Oh, I'd be so traumatized. No, you shouldn't see. They did used to do that, and that goes back to the materials that they used to have versus what they have now. The materials that they have now the best bonding you're going to get is to the enamel. So I don't want to shave away all your enamel. And so it creates a weaker structure, A. B, you don't need to. They're about as thin as like a fingernail. So it's
like a calf.
yeah, except for it's just really on the front. It's almost like a contact lens. Like imagine.
Did not know that. I thought you had to like shave your teeth away to those points.
No,
That's what I see.
That's a good thing to clear out.
And then that's what I show the kids. I say, you guys want to do this to your mouth? Don't floss.
No, in fact, most of the time you have no drill teeth. There's no drill.
No drilling.
Yes. Mostly.
And how much does it cost?
It depends on the case and how many teeth that you're doing.
Oh, you don't have to do all of them.
No. I do a lot, for the most part, I do a lot of 4 units. So when and oftentimes too, it's like there's a trauma to like one front tooth. And
Yeah.
it's really tricky to blend one front tooth. So even if I get the color exactly right, but if one of them is real and the rest is enamel, it just always is going to look off.
Yeah.
Different lighting and photos, whatever. If you do the front 4, you let it like almost like up. And so I do a lot of 4. Or people, so many kids check their teeth in their middle or just have some sort of trauma. So there's that. Or they just don't love their front teeth. So can you that? And then we do 10 to 12, which is like all the teeth we show next time. Most people show 10 upper teeth next month. And then we do lower.
Okay.
Yeah. But generally you're looking between like 10 and 25 grand.
10 for the floor?
Yeah. Just under 10.
And that's not covered by insurance because it's cosmetic.
Now, sometimes if there's trauma, I'm out for it. So if it's like they have to, if it's just purely cosmetic, no. Yeah. But
it's nice to know that they don't do that little point thing. Because I really thought that was.
I'm not going to tell the kids that's a thing.
No. They still do. I think most of those videos, from what I've seen, it's Turkey. It's like a destination place where they go and get veneers, and those are mostly what I've seen. I don't mean to put down Turkey specifically, but that's just what I've seen. And I don't know why. 'Cause there are great ceramists there, there's great judges there. I don't know. But no, not only do we not do that, you should not do that. If you are going to do that, that's like a red flag.
Don't do it.
Maybe it just makes for a more dramatic TikTok.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Sure does.
Uh-huh.
It sure does. It's crazy to me too. These girls be like that. And
Yes. It's really disturbing.
And it's damaging to the tooth. It's short life of the tooth. It's so bad for so many reasons. Yeah, no, but we don't need to do that. So we should not do that. And they don't. So going back to as far as looking natural and not looking natural, like, yes, I do agree. Like the ones you mostly notice are the really bad ones. There's probably more out there that you don't notice because
There's nothing.
and then I think too, I would say, so I've been doing this a long time, and I will say that I think filters and social media have changed our idea of white.
Yeah.
Like the shades I used to do, 10, 15 years ago, it's like progressive.
More natural.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now it's just gotten lighter and lighter. What people's idea of natural has gotten lighter.
I mean, they want it whiter.
Yes.
It's back to white. Really white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
And I think because they see it everywhere. This is a natural white. You're like, well,
It's relative.
yeah, it's relative. Yeah.
Don't go quite so white. Any other, like, things people come to, more like cosmetic besides veneers, or just good old teeth whitening?
Yeah, but I feel like teeth whitening is tricky because we live in the age that we do, and veneers have become so common. And I will say this too, it's life changing. It's my favorite part of what I do. Somebody is walking around and like not
feeling good.
Yeah, not feeling good about their smile. Like they come back, and even when they're in temporaries, they're like, on the verge of tears. They're like, you have no idea what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I can see that. I mean, it's your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's your smile.
Yeah, and it's how you show up in the world.
Yeah.
And so, or like kids, people like you notice kids, unfortunately high school kids, and they kind of cover their mouth every time they talk or every time they smile, and like taking that away affects them
confidence. Yeah.
That's deep.
I feel like that's a US thing though. Like outside the US, there's not that many people getting veneers and like
They don't even their teeth outside of the US.
It's making its way around. I think it's going to be, I think it's like the new job, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be in the dental communities. It's definitely like London is for sure. Got a lot.
My husband lived in Japan. This was in the early 2000s. And he went to get his teeth cleaned. And the woman, and he spoke Japanese. And the woman at the desk is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then didn't do teeth clean. He's American. He just wants his teeth cleaned. So there's no hygienists, at least back then. Again, this was over 20 years ago. So the dentist was like, I'll do it, and cleaned his teeth for him. But it's not like the woman who worked there didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. I can't fathom that. But yeah, they do. It's interesting. What is viewed as beautiful at teeth wise is very different country to country. Look at some of the best ceramics from Japan, and it's amazing. They can make a tooth that and it has, staining and like so much character that you would have no idea that it's fake. But aesthetically is more tailored to that. But additionally, from what I've read, in Japan, they love like, I want to say like very like almost like little kid smiles. Little kids tend to have like really prominent canines and then really little laterals that kind of bigger.
Interesting.
I do think that's interesting.
They do that with veneers?
They do.
That's why.
What I've read.
They're trying to look like rubber eyes with doe eyes.
And you know what they said that I thought was so kind of like, oh God, because I was like, wow, why would you want that? But they were like, everyone in America dyes their hair. Kids blonde. I was like, oh, I'm sure that. Yeah. Okay, so I know. So I was like, well, I guess we all have our things.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and then they judge the other culture over their jam. That's very funny.
Yeah. But each their own, I guess. But no, I think it's making its way around. I really do. But yeah. And then one more thing about veneers, I would say, depending on your ceramist and the amount of character that you put in a tooth, that's what makes it look real or not. Almost more than the white. Like a tooth should, like you have amazingly white natural teeth. Like
She sure does.
right? There's like, so Kat does too. Like there's few people that they just literally have like electric white teeth. Everyone has like,
But I use stuff on it. I do the Crest White strips like once a month.
It works. It's working.
And I don't leave it on for too long so that it doesn't get sensitive.
yeah. But even genetically, some people just have lighter teeth and some just don't have as light teeth. And so if you, like your teeth are probably super bleach shade, which would be what we would do veneers in, but they're natural and then if I were to try and make a veneer, your shade, I could make it look natural if I included all the character that your teeth have. If I just do this one flat shade, it's going to look fake. Yeah. But it's going to be the same shade as you.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a little bit tricky, but patients don't know. It's like character.
Right thing.
Like texture.
Yeah.
A little bit of texture.
Like a little, texture. Yeah. And then whitening, going back to whitening. Whitening is amazing, but I feel like what people expect now, because veneers are everywhere, that whitening is going to bump you a little. It's not going to be a panacea.
Right.
And so what I'm noticing more and more is people are like, I'm going to keep whitening. And I'm like, you've white
enough. Like,
enough.
it's not going to happen.
This is your body. This is what.
So you kind of have to tell people, like, you need to chill on the whitening.
Or like you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not going to get.
We've reached
This is it.
the pinnacle of whiteness.
Yeah. It's for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then usually they'll get sensitive. They keep doing it.
Yeah.
So they don't stop themselves. But yeah, they're just our bodies do what they do. Right. So.
And when just going back to like going to your office, and I love how it feels in there, it does kind of feel like it's like mostly, you have like a mostly female staff. Yeah. And how is that? Like just with the dynamic and working with all those women and
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do it on purpose.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
But it's a great little group. Like, we get along. I think it's fantastic. I think, too, it's nice because there's a lot of moms. So, like, ultimately, this has to be a good working environment for everyone. And I think there's just a total understanding with each other. Like, if you have to go and,
Right.
take your kids somewhere or watch a play or whatever it is, like, we all support that. We'll all figure out how to, like, work together to make it all work. And honestly, we really enjoy each other. It feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good vibes, good energy.
Yeah, we do have one guy there.
Really? I've never seen him.
He
I got him in the back.
no,
I don't.
he's on his way to dental school, actually. He interned for us. He's
Actually, you know what? He did come in and he did my 3/4.
Yes.
3/4.
Yes.
Or no, I didn't have any fourths. Maybe 1/4. But that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah, he's a sweet kid. I know. I do feel bad for him. It's a little overwhelming because we're all like older than him too. But he does great. He does great. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lady office.
It's great. Keep it that way.
one of the reasons I like it.
I do too.
What are some myths, like dental myths or misconceptions that you encounter frequently that you can kind of debunk for our listeners?
If there's any.
Yeah, if there's any.
Gosh.
Maybe it's that whitening
I
one.
was going to say the white.
Yeah, and the veneers one.
The veneers one. Yes. I might be for you, bro.
Yeah. Well, and just the weird, like how you think that you have to make your teeth into those points.
Yeah. No, you don't need to do that. Yeah. I'm trying to think that it's fine if your mouth always bleeds.
Right. They think it's normal,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Yeah, like when I used to be more of a sporadic flosser, when I'd go back to it, my gums would bleed. But I knew it was because I wasn't flossing, and that
Yeah. I always say that too. And I tell patients that they're like, it bleeds. So I stopped. And I'm like, no, that means you're doing it right. Like, if you haven't done it and your mouth isn't healthy, like, it will bleed, but only for like a few days.
Right,
Once
definitely.
you get it, like, all black and gunk out, it will start to get healthier again. I don't know if there's any other misconceptions.
Those are funny.
Yeah.
And like, how has modern technology, even in the time that you've been doing dentistry, like changed, you're just how you interact with patients and how you do stuff? I mean, I even feel like teeth cleaning since I was little has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. But in a good way. Let's see. We were just talking about this earlier. So there's AI now. Before AI, I would say just the technology and the ceramics and the products that we use. We don't have to drill teeth downtown to plumb nubbins. Like, we don't need to do that anymore. So that's amazing. Bonding was a huge, like, figuring out how to get things to stick to teeth was like a really big deal. And that really only came around in like the late 80s, like, predictably. And
Like to get a crown to like stay.
yeah, or him
Or a cat.
or no, she's just so or
It's like not a big nut filling.
yeah, because that was the only option.
I used to have those metal fillings back in the day.
Yeah. So bonding has been great. The ceramics have been great. Scanning has been great.
I got a cool scan.
Yeah. So we remember all the goop. So basically, that's in lieu of the goop. Now you have like a fancy digital scan. And it's pretty amazing to see. And now AI is starting to go places where you can, like, we digitally plan like Invisalign at this point in time. So you like remove the teeth, on the computer before you ever have to do it in the mouth. Whereas before ortho, you put like a bigger wire on that had like a specific shape and wait for things to move. But now you can see it ahead of time, which is cool. And then I do think at the end of the day, there's just parts of I don't think dentistry is going nowhere, unfortunately, unless the American diet changes or the robots just get so good. But I feel like there's so much human factor that it's not going anywhere. But for us, AI is going to help us take notes. We spend so much time taking notes, so that's like a really big deal for us. But that's great. I think, yeah. I think that doing, as far as patients go, just being able to digitally see teeth movement and what could be, and just actually see what we see, to be able to like look in the mouth and to see what we see, I think is going to be helpful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then what about, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but beyond the obvious, like cavity prevention, how does oral health connect to overall physical health?
It is overall.
I mean, the main one we just discovered, because we had no clue, is about this Alzheimer's and
Yeah.
penile dysfunction.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
No, but I think that's in the heart disease, all of that.
It's the number one killer in America. And your mouth is very much connected to it. I feel like if we can erase, that's the myth, that your mouth is separate from the rest of your body.
Right.
Like it is absolutely not. It is the starting point of everything. And it is, they say to you, a bit of a mirror. Like if things are going on in your mouth, that's pretty, it is a good look at what's going on in your gut.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's like, we would feel like success in dentistry if people understood that and kind of knew that. Because sometimes, unfortunately, we're like the bearers of not so great news.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear. And it's tricky. It's not comfortable for us either to give that knowledge. But I feel like if people understood that it is important, and that's why we're saying it, and that's why we're passionate about what we're doing, I think that would go far. The other thing I did want to bring up, I feel like as moms, that would be pretty good to know is when we're looking at our kids, airway is huge. Airway is a really big deal. Getting good oxygen, mouth breathing is a really big deal. And so the things that we could do as moms, and I think it's our job to educate our patients. And anyway, I was going to say to educate everyone, if your kid is breathing through their mouth, please get them to like an airway trained dentist. If your kid is
An airway trained dentist.
so most pediatricians,
Got it.
I feel like, and I pray that in today's world, they are looking at that and they are referring you to the right places. But that's a really big deal. And then the second part of that is when you have kids, I feel like everyone's like, they don't eat any sugar, but they eat the crackers, they eat
Processed stuff.
anything processed.
Yeah.
Basically, it's sugar. It sticks to their teeth. It gets in all the little grooves. It's tough to brush little kids' teeth and do it well because they're usually not laying still.
Yeah.
Flossing little kids' teeth, as we all know, is really tricky. So that really matters. And then the other thing I would say is what we know now related to the airway is a lot of moms are like, oh, they want to do 2 rounds of orthodontics on my kid, or they just try to scam me. It is the absolute best thing you can do for your kid, because if we can get them early enough into ortho, you can actually, like, your bone is pretty spongy and the suture in your palate hasn't fused, so you can make room for all the teeth that are about to come in later. Waiting for everything to grow in and for your bones to set, then try to move the teeth in the framework. It's harder. It's much harder. It's not as good for the kid, and you don't have any. It goes back to airway as well. It'll help the airway. It'll help their oxygen. Getting better oxygen affects your body and your brain development and everything. So that part, I think, too, is I don't do a ton of pediatrics, but I feel like we should all know that.
No, I think that's because my older son is about to be on his 2nd round. And yeah, I was like, where was I? He had really crooked teeth. So it was like, we need to slash the braces on his head. But yeah, I'm really glad I've done it. And he even has like a thing that's correcting his jaw.
Yeah.
That's bringing his bottom.
That's good.
And man, it's like just been a couple months and you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. And that alone will get them better oxygen.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal. And then before, if you wait, you're looking at jaw surgery to correct that. That's what you're saying. Like, look at it. So it's a really big deal. Yeah.
What about mouth taping?
I love
Me too. I make my husband do it because he snores.
Can he breathe? Is he able to breathe?
He can breathe shockingly. Yeah.
Your body will fight for you to breathe. Just stop. And then if you are breathing through your nose, not snoring, like you're getting so much better nitrogen.
Exactly.
Much better.
Or sleeping better.
Yeah. It's pretty, for some people, like people that have migraines, and have a migraine patient, they're like, oh my gosh, that took it away.
Wow.
That's an extreme case. But I love that this is making mainstream. Literally 15 years ago when I used to bring this up to you. Probably
People were probably like, "Are you crazy?"
Are you crazy? Or books or any of it. They literally were like, "Are you crazy?" And I used to buy books and like hand them out. It's not normal.
The breath book really changed it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Yeah. No, it's a big deal. Oxygen is huge.
Yeah.
But definitely we need to look at our kids. I mean, for adults too, but looking at our kids.
And I guess you kind of think like when the kids are breathing through the mouth, oh, it's a stuffy nose or whatever. But
It's a habit.
yeah,
They get used to breathing that way,
right.
and then they just get stuck with it.
And it will affect their
Jaw shape.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously it's smaller, right?
Yeah, there's a very specific
Fascinating.
look. Like Michael Phelps is a notorious mouth breather. Kind of like the longer nose and like the
This is like recessed back.
and once you see it, you're like, oh, I can see that. Yeah. It's crazy too. You're saying like, even if you have a stuffy nose, if you force yourself to like close your mouth and just breathe through your nose, something will open up.
And it does open
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm such a nose breather that like when I was pregnant my second time for the first month, I could not breathe out my nose. And I was like, not okay, really. It really affected me.
Yeah.
I was like, you really are a whip, Amanda. Like, you can't even handle not breathing through your mouth.
It's a big deal.
It really affected me. Like, I'll
Plus,
never
it dries out your throat.
Yeah.
Like, it's, ugh.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine doing that. Oh, it's
I can't even do like scuba diving, or not scuba diving, snorkeling, because of the.
I hate snorkeling.
I get like claustrophobic.
Yeah. And I go through the whole tank of oxygen in like 20 minutes. And I'm like, this is not a sport. Same. You know what else I was going to say? Going back to mouth breathing too. So dry mouth is terrible. Terrible. For like, you're not just like a little bit more prone to decay. I would say it's like 20, 30 times more prone. It's tough. And women, especially when we go through menopause, like everything dries up, but your mouth gets drier. And so you do see like an incline in periodontal disease and an incline in caries or decay. And it's, you know, and it's a bummer. So it takes more just to maintain, you know, the status quo. But the other thing I would say to people, I'm like flipping back. Yeah, sorry.
No,
Is hydration. Like drinking water is like, it's so good for obviously our whole body, but it also is really good for your oral health. Like it's a very neutral pH. It's not going to upset the pH in your mouth. It can help flush all the stuff through your mouth, especially if you have any sort of dry mouth. Like that plaque and all that food will just sit there. It's
Yeah.
you need help.
seems like people drink a lot more water just because of like the water bottle factor.
Yes, for sure.
For sure. But there is still a lot of people who drink sodas.
No, you're right. I just think I take for
And I'm like, ugh.
Mystifies.
yeah.
Oh, too. I'm like, it makes me thirsty. Like, how does that quench anyone's thirst?
So bad. The pH is so low. Those Monster energy drinks or those energy drinks. You teenagers, it's like
It's Celsius.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
And now they're like energy.
Yeah, but the pH on those is like 2 points thing. I mean,
Right.
it's like a double. But having low pH is where you'll get cavities. It's bad.
I mean, the dental health related to your overall health is big. I think that's a really good
People don't talk about that enough.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
I don't.
I do. I agree with you.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to
Totally.
talk about it more.
Yeah.
I think it would make people do these simple things more.
Really?
Right. Yeah, if they do.
You do.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're gonna have a heart attack if you don't floss. I mean, I know that's a big jump, but
No,
it's
but you're-
it's not.
like
Yeah.
like the even like live like 6 years loss.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
I feel like people are motivated mostly by
Yeah,
like the what's your teeth will be prettier. They will stay
they
whiter.
will
Gums
definitely
will be prettier. You'll have them longer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the connection to overall health though is pretty fascinating.
Yeah. And terrifying.
What do you have any advice for anyone who hasn't been to the dentist in 3 years, 5 years, and they're just like, you know what, I can't go because it's gonna be crazy.
Overwhelmed? That's a good question. I mean, I would always say like, come in and tell us where you're at. Like, we'll meet you.
Right.
And any dentist, I would hope, like, we'll meet you where you're at, stay where you're at. Like and a lot of times too, it depends on, are you scared of the shaming? Are you scared of dentistry? Like, what is it?
I feel like some people are scared of the bill.
Or what they're going to hear that they need.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's going to be expensive.
It's true. I wish I had like a solution.
No, I mean, that's every dent. I mean, it's a lot of work and it's a whole thing. Yeah.
It is. So in the dental field, I would say like a general use around 150.
That's not the bill I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like if you need a crown or something like that.
Yeah, it does have
But if they knew how important it was and how they affected their full body health,
Yeah.
I think people would be more inclined to like make it a priority. Yeah.
like you'd spend it on a car. You'll spend so much more on cars.
Or clothes or drinks or food, like
I think that's
all that stuff.
Hair,
nails, like all of that.
Yeah, for sure. Everything is so expensive now, but we're like, it's like the same stuff.
Oh no, cleaning I feel like should not be a budget
But it does. A lot of people are like, I don't want to come in if my insurance isn't covering it. But like one more thing a year, it's like a really big difference, you know? But we hear that, I'd say daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, people's priorities are screwed.
Yeah. But maybe
because you don't even think twice about like buying a shoe. You know what I mean?
Right. I know. I mean, I think that too, or we think that in the dental field, but it's daily.
It's like instead of twice a year cleaning, they only want to do the one.
Or say we're like,
you should cause an important.
I'd love to see you more often so we can like keep this under control. Or you've had periodontal disease, you're clearly prone to it. Can we see you every 3 months to make sure that we keep this at bay?
Mm-hmm.
Your bacteria will recolonize every 3 months. But yeah. It's tricky.
Yeah, I remember like I used to have to come in 4 times a year and I actually didn't really think about it. That's just kind of what the hygienist would say. And then she graduated me to twice a year.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And I was like, great. So, I mean, I am just saying that because I don't think like you guys are really basing it on what's going on. It's not like we're trying to get more money.
Yeah,
like,
it should be very vigilant.
Yeah.
It is very individual. But if you're the person that needs it more often, sometimes, I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky. We're the bearers of the not great news. I guess so. It's like the hard part of what we do. But yeah.
But don't wait longer.
But don't wait longer.
Come in.
Oh my gosh. And then we have people live a long time in San Diego. It's really incredible to me. I worked in La Mesa and I worked in Chino House. And even like La Mesa is still San Diego, but the population here lives longer. I feel like almost by like a decade, like 95-year-olds that are swimming every day. So that's a lot of lives to keep your surface that's not regenerating.
Right.
So it's tricky, but I will tell you, because we do work on 80-year-olds and 75-year-olds and 90-year-olds, like, and it is so heartbreaking because in the end, like you're more frail, getting the work done is so much harder. And at that point too, and then things, you kind of let it go because I don't care, I'm old now and I don't want to put the money into this. And you stop putting the money into it in your 60s, and by the time you're 75, yes, it is young, but even 70s or 80s, and then you're looking at like a lot more work. It's so much more expensive. Like, that is expensive. A crown and a root canal is even more expensive, and an implant is like more than double that. So it just gets more expensive, and so
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and then like you're older, like the only thing you have left is your taste, your ability goes and your socialization kind of wanes. And then, and your smile.
So it can impact your sense of taste.
No.
Oh, I thought,
you can't eat because,
oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
You have, or a denture never fits well, or, so it's like, I mean, I will tell you what I've heard from them is, oh my gosh, if I could go back to 10 years ago, I would have just done what you told me to do.
Right.
But, and I get it. Like, we all don't know.
You can't give up.
You can't give up.
Give up on yourself and your teeth.
Yes. Oh, it's so hard.
I feel like your new thing.
I know.
Teeth coach.
Like a tape with a tooth on it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Great.
So last time I was in, they told me I was starting to get the deep pockets. Shocking, I know.
Very shocking.
But they told me to start using a water floss, which I use sporadically because I have to use it in the shower and then I forget to bring it in there with me. And then there's like some stuff I'm supposed to put in it. What is
Like
it?
a saline solution?
Was it closest?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like an antimicrobial conference specifically.
And it kind of hurts a little. But I like it. Yeah. It's intense.
It's like
Because it's such
a deep massage.
strong stream.
yeah, it's a strong
Never
stream.
can.
Huh? You can? Yeah. Oh, wow. I was like, whoa. And it's like going everywhere.
Go in the shower.
So they told me to do it in the shower.
I like it in the shower because it's so messy.
Yeah,
I do like it's like massage.
it is. It is.
So if you have any recession at all, teeth are not. So you have like the crown of your teeth, right? And then they kind of go down, but they're not this perfectly round surface, right? So, and then as you go down, like if you have any recession at all, they actually have like little concavities. So unfortunately, even if you're an amazing flosser, there can be these little concavities. There's nooks and crannies. Our teeth are just not uniform.
Right.
And so that's where the water flossers come in.
And is that so? Getting the deep pockets comes from what? Not flossing enough, or just
I mean, it's kind of
not brushing correctly?
not getting the plaque under the gums, and probably for you because you too.
It's in the back.
Oral
The
hygiene
back teeth.
in there, especially in those back teeth, like they have multiple roots, so there's just lots of little nooks and crannies. And if you have any recession, which unfortunately we all are prone to a little bit for sure
As you get older.
and so then those nooks and crannies become even harder, like more evident and even harder to clean. And so
So it's like a big flush for it.
Yeah.
it's good. I
It's cool.
love it.
I love it.
I do like the one that you use in your shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got one for London, as they also told him he should have one. And he, like, there was water everywhere. It was all over the mirror, on the floor. And I was like, dude, you need to do this in the shower. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Teenage. I was like, what are you doing? It's in the ceiling, like, dripping down. He's like, I don't know. It was going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of that. A little bit of machine gun.
I'm not the Invisalign, but I haven't water floss. I don't think I would. I don't know. Like, they would not.
They're little, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're 11 and 13.
Okay, that's not that little.
Oh, yeah. That's not that little, but yeah, I don't know if they're adept enough for the water pick. I don't know.
I know you kind of just touched on it, but as we get older, what would you say is the number one death problem, the periodontal disease? Right. So it's floss or die.
And then gets more work as you get older too.
Right.
Unfortunately, just to maintain. It's like everybody, right? It's like a little hard work just to maintain the stats low. But yeah, periodontal disease is the number one thing we see.
And then what about, like, nutrition? Is there certain foods we could be eating to strengthen the enamel and, like, making our teeth healthier, teeth and gums?
Yeah. It's like everything in our body. The cleaner you eat, like, so much better for your oral microbiome, which then translates to better mineralization for your teeth, which helps them be stronger and less sensitive, less plaque, less periodontal disease, like all of it.
So, like, fruits, vegetables,
That kills your
the process.
yeah. If you could just literally, the cleaner you can eat, the better, for sure.
And like, is there any relation to like meat or just more like skip the Cheetos?
Yeah, skip the Cheetos for sure.
And the candy.
And the soda.
Yeah, and the candy and the soda.
I have a candy problem.
I have a candy problem,
So-
too.
Same.
I feel like every much I like it. I'm like a child.
Yeah, I know. What do you like?
Orange Tic Tac.
I love Skittles. I love Nerd Rope.
Yeah, it's
Do you like those? In that,
Yeah. I like the sour gummies.
and I love
I love the Mexican candy, like the
I-
chilo lollipops, like all the Mexican stuff.
and now they're doing
yes. This is a really good way to
So
wrap
just-
that.
Just floss and brush after, right?
yes,
Not itemized.
after.
Not immediately.
And the biggest thing, you don't snack. Like, have it. Really, with anything that is even processed, like have it. But then don't snack on it. The more you snack on it, the worse.
What do you mean have it and then don't
What
snack?
do you mean? Like just chow it down and brush your teeth.
Just eat it,
Right.
Wait 30 minutes and then brush your teeth.
Oh, why do you have to wing it?
Every time you eat, no matter what you eat, like your saliva has enzymes in it that help the process of breaking down food, which basically turns your oral microbiome very negative or very acidic. And then it takes about 30 minutes for it to kind of come back. So when it's in its most like native stripping animal state, you don't want to like go in there with the tooth.
Oh, good to know, because I rushed to the bathroom.
So you mean like don't keep the bag, hidden up in the cupboard above my stove
And eat it for 3 hours straight.
snack here and there throughout the day, like what I just works for your. Oh, okay. No, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Have your seated
Wait
session.
and brush. Yeah.
And then too, if you are brushing during the day, like you don't need to use paste every single time.
Oh,
Oh, got to see water.
I don't really brush. I'm a morning and a night person.
Yeah. If you are brushing during the day, I probably would recommend even just using water.
Okay,
throughout the day.
good to know.
Just because again, going into that abrasiveness, like
Over brushing. Okay.
might be stripping.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all brushing.
Damn.
That's where that is.
It's like
Yeah. But it does. I feel like with all health things, it comes down to those daily simple habits that are not expensive.
yeah,
And we just have to be so good about it.
yeah,
And of course, eat healthy.
yeah, yeah. And the hell, I mean, if we could let go of the American diet and like if everyone ate really clean, there would be no need for dentistry.
And I guess you're right. It would make it, there would be no need for fluoride in the water.
Yeah, that's
But people aren't doing it.
even us. We all eat our candy. So,
Yeah.
Try to be 80% good.
but yeah,
Well, this was great. I got all my questions answered.
And
I
I
learned
learned
so much.
I did. I thought I knew it all about it. No, I'm just kidding. I did not think I knew it all.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much.
thank you for having me. That was fun. I love it.
I
Care
know.
about this. It makes me so happy.
I think, and people need to care more.
Yeah,
In relation to your overall health, I think is probably the
Number one
best
takeaway.
takeaway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
cool. Big deal.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for
Oh,
your
wait,
time.
maybe you can tell us a little bit something about like just your office or
Yeah, but
anything you
so
want
how
to share.
I see you. How do we
Oh.
see you?
So I'm Sarah Winter. We're in La Jolla. It's Sarah Winter by Aspire with a group of doctors. We have whatever. I'm with a group of practices.
It's amazing. We love it.
We love it.
Instagram.
Okay.
Sarah Winter Dental on Instagram. So that's how you can find us. And then all the info is on there.
Great.
Awesome. That.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Well, I really, really enjoyed that. I love talking about teeth and
Definitely.
oral health, and I learned so much, and hopefully you guys did too.
Yes, that was wonderful. I love the connection between just the little things you can do, brush your teeth and floss and tongue scrape, to have a healthy mouth, and it might equate to having a healthy everything.
Yep.
So
Thanks for joining us.
thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode.